Hello, Steve.
Yes, Karl. What are you up to? What's that behind your back?
Oh, nothing. You remember how we were discussing that maybe we should do more with vegetables on the show?
Yes. That's on the agenda.
Yes. Well, I'd actually made you something out of broccoli.
And what is that?
A broccoli poodle. Chia.
Yum, 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 yum.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, we are, in fact, cooking with vegetables today, and there was something you wanted to tell the folks about vegetables, peeling vegetables.
Absolutely, Karl. Most of the nutrients and minerals are in the outside of the vegetables. And when they are new vegetables, just lightly peel them. Or, again, if they're new vegetables, you can just scrub them like so, keeping all the minerals inside there and all that kind of a thing. So.
Yeah, and I know French chefs who actually use a paring knife to just scrape off that very outer part of the carrot or whatever the vegetable happens to be, because it is extremely important to keep the nutrients in these things. Great advice. And coming up on the program today, Melanie Caines is our guest. Melanie, you may know her from her Nova Yoga show here on Rogers TV. She's obviously a yoga instructor, but she's also an actress. And we'll be talking to her about that as well. And what are we going to be cooking with Melanie today?
Karl, we're going to be making some stuffed portobello mushrooms.
I don't think we've had stuffed mushrooms on the show before. That's great. And we have another guest chef today. It's MacDonald of Legros Motti, downtown's restaurant, of course. And he's going to be doing an Italian-themed dish. It's polenta with a wild mushroom ragout for two wild and crazy guys. We'll be right back. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600 or send us an email at onechef.onecritic@rci.rogers.com. And we are back with Melanie Caines. Well, Melanie, it's great having you on the show, but our viewers have probably been used to seeing you in a little bit of a different venue, usually on the floor, on a mat, doing striking yoga poses. So we've got you standing up today.
In real clothes.
Yeah, in real clothes. And we're actually going to be doing some cooking with you. Stephen, what are we doing?
Actually, Melanie, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be stuffing some portobello mushrooms, and we're going to be stuffing them with some turkey and some vegetables. So what we'll do, we'll get a little bit of oil into the pan, and we'll start to fry now, and I'll get you to stir and all that kind of stuff, and I'll be adding all this stuff there to it.
And what do you want me to do?
Okay, Karl, what we've got there, I want to make a little bit of salad. We've got some cherry tomatoes there, both orange and red, and some peas, so you can cut them up, and oil and vinegar and all that kind of stuff.
I will do that. Melanie, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on the show is to find out a little bit more about you, because there is more to Melanie than yoga.
Yeah.
You were an actress as well, or are an actress?
Still an actor, yeah. So I went to the. This is hard to talk and stir at the same time.
I know.
I'm not used to this.
I know. It's one of the things we don't like to warn you about, because it might put you off guesting on the show. But yeah, so you're an actress. You're a business person because you got your own yoga business.
I'm a graduate of the Grenfell School of Fine Arts in Corner Brook, so I did my theater degree. And then I went on to tour with a show called Tempting Providence for about 8 years, all around the world, which is amazing. And then I started practicing yoga. I went to New York to train to learn how to teach yoga, and that I kind of fell in love with it, and kind of everything went from there.
Now, just to backtrack a bit, you're actually from Corner Brook, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Okay. So did you kind of grow up knowing that the fine arts school was there, and that they were actually training people to act and be theater directors and producers and so forth?
Especially when I was in high school, I worked with, I went to sort of a theater camp through Theater Newfoundland Labrador, and so we were very aware that the school was there, and then hopefully, cross fingers, you would get in and go through the program, and it's a really awesome program. So I'm very thankful for all my teachers and all the
So
experiences
was it
there.
just acting you learned there, or were there other aspects of theater that you learned?
Well, I was in the acting stream. You can also go through the stagecraft stream, which is more behind the scenes, but for me it was
stage
performance.
management and all that.
Yeah.
Set design, I guess. So was it just theater, or do they give you training in film and TV, that sort of thing?
It was just theater. And I have done some film and voice work, so that's something that I had to kind of learn afterwards on my own and by, trying it out and learning as you go.
Yeah.
So you said you travelled the world. So was there any favourite country you was in, or any favourite food that you ate while you were travelling?
Food, always. I kind of pick where I go now for vacations and training based on who has the good food, which country is the best
Really?
food.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
I had a really good time in Australia. I really loved Australia.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I love Scotland. I was in Edinburgh for the 2004 Fringe Festival, which was probably the best month of my life. It was just amazing.
Yes.
Those are the highlights of my touring career.
I don't think you eat red meat, do you?
I don't, no.
So you probably didn't taste kangaroo.
No, I was actually horrified that they.
Oh,
That
were
is-
you?
Yeah, it's because they're so cute and cuddly, and then all of a sudden they're on a pizza, and that's just. I don't know. I had a hard time dealing with that.
Yeah. Well, I can see that. I'd be really upset if they did anything with the koala bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a cute animal.
I know. I
Yeah.
actually got to hold one. I had my birthday when I was there years and years ago, and so my birthday wish was to hold a koala.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, really? Yeah.
But Australians love their seafood too, I think. So you probably had some good seafood.
I
down
did
there?
have some very good seafood. We were in Tasmania, which is very much like Newfoundland in terms of.
Because of the island.
Yeah, and it's an island off the mainland, and there was a lot of similarities. So there was great seafood down there, great people, like here.
Yeah, sure. You mentioned early on there that you were in Tempting Providence, but you weren't just in Tempting Providence. You were in that play for like 8 years or something.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy.
It's kind of like being in the mousetrap, it's never ending.
It was. It spanned most of my 20s, so it was quite incredible to have that experience. But there came a time when I thought I need something else, something different now.
Yeah.
So. And I still do work as an actor, but yoga, my business is my life.
Yeah. And as it should be, I guess. Have you kind of given up on the acting, or would you do it if something came along?
Absolutely,
that really interested you?
If the right show came along, definitely. I do some short films and commercials, and I did an episode of Republic of Doyle, which was quite great, and I do voice work. Thank you. I do voice work on the Republic of Doyle as well, so I'm still very much involved.
What kind of voice work would you be doing on Republic of Doyle? I'm not sure I understand that.
It's really interesting. We go in, there's a group of 4 of us, and we go in once the episode is filmed, and we basically fill in the voices that they didn't get on the day. So maybe there's a crowd scene that needs some beefing up, or maybe there's some breaths for someone that they didn't get on the day, or just a voicemail or a GPS. So basically, we fill in all the background voices that you don't really think about exist, right?
Yeah. But now that you mention it, you're right, probably. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's really fun. I love
really
that.
think of that in cartoons when you do the voice.
That would be a good job. I'd like to do that someday.
So if somebody's like running through the woods and it's a long shot and they want to hear...
Maybe if they didn't get the actor's breath on that day.
That's right.
Basically, I think I've done every sound you can imagine for this show. So that's really fun.
So does that pay well?
My lips are sealed.
That's one thing I could do, actually.
Well, Melanie, we've got all that sorted off now. What I did with the portobello mushrooms, I just rubbed them with olive oil. I'm going to take that from you now. I'm going to add an egg into that to bind it, because we've got the breadcrumbs in there, we've got the Parmesan cheese.
Awesome.
Then we'll top it with a little bit more Parmesan cheese, and we'll pop that into the oven.
It smells amazing.
There we go. Perfect. Thanks.
You're still working.
I'm still working away. I'm trying to figure out
Do you need some help?
how much to put in this.
Oh, don't be shy, Karl. Don't be shy at all.
Okay, so how much salt do you think I should put in here, Melanie?
My boyfriend always adds the salt, so I have no idea.
Just put a little bit more. I don't want to oversalt it. Yeah. So how did you get into yoga? Is that something you were doing all your life, or?
No, not all my life, but when I was touring, yoga was something I could take with me because I could do it in the hotel room. You didn't need weights or any special equipment to do yoga on the road. And then it just became something that emotionally and mentally I wanted to move into to feel better, because it's a great lifestyle. Yoga is a lifestyle. It's not just what you see on the mat.
No.
So what do you mean feel better? Now, I mean, you're pretty young. I mean, I can't imagine you felt that bad, you know.
Well, no, but you know, there's ups and downs in everyone's life, and I was going through a time when I just needed some, I think some...
So was it more of a mental thing?
I just needed something to help me shift into a brighter place.
Because you weren't overweight or anything like that,
No,
right?
it was just, you know, I just needed a shift. And so I went to New York and had an amazing month training there, and then came back, and then it just kind of exploded. The yoga scene exploded.
Of course, now, am I wrong? Correct me if I am. But isn't meditation involved with yoga too?
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Basically, yoga is, it's many things, so you can take from it what you want. So maybe it's just the physical practice, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's breath work, maybe it's just the way that you live, treating people with kindness, respecting yourself, you know, all that good stuff.
So, but I mean, that obviously would, I guess, you know, help release the endorphins or whatever they call them, and make you feel better.
Yeah, it's certainly changed my life, and I love to hear that it's changed other people's lives too.
Yeah, that's great. And you trained actually in New York and Los Angeles, I think. So why there? Because they had the best teachers?
Amazing teachers. Yeah, amazing teachers, amazing programs, and I love those cities.
Well, I do too. Anyway, listen, everything's under control here. I'm going to pop out and get some, or pop down to the wine cellar and get a bottle of wine to go with this magnificent looking mushroom meal.
Good.
Okay, I'll be back.
Well, they're just about ready there, Melanie. But what we have, if you just step back there, I've got some already made here in the oven, already nice and brown and things like that. And then we're going to serve that with that salad, and away we go.
Beautiful.
And I'll drizzle that with some olive oil.
Well, Andrea, when I saw all the portobello mushrooms up there, I thought we were doing a vegetarian dish, but apparently it's stuffed with turkey. And actually, there's a lot of strong flavors in this, because there's Parmesan cheese as well.
Yeah, so I know there's a balsamic drizzle at the end too, and I think I remember a little cayenne pepper in the dish.
Yeah, so a little bit of kick.
Exactly. So earthiness of mushrooms, turkey, natural for Pinot. But we've gone 3 very different Pinots here. Pinot Noir, of course, I'm referring to. First for you, I have the Windy Peak Pinot Noir made by De Bortoli, which is in Australia, down in Victoria, Australia. This is a well-made Pinot at a pretty good price point. This is one. It's got some, you know, that little bit of earthiness that you expect, not as big and bold as, say, a California or some of the jammier Aussie Pinots, but not quite as austere as a Burgundy. So somewhere in between, great with the turkey, great with the mushrooms, but enough ripeness that it's going to deal with the balsamic, the sweetness of the balsamic as well. Then we're going to the Sonoma coast. This is Meiomi, Belglas, been one of my favorites for a long, long time. Very different from the Burgundian style, but because Meiomi is actually the native Indian word for fog and coast. So it's actually on the coast, so not too ripe, not too jammy, a little bit of that austerity, despite the fact that it's from Sonoma.
That'll fit right in here. Meiomi.
Yes, exactly, fog and coast. So that one's 31. And then at the end, we're going sparkling. This is Gloria Ferrer. They're from Sonoma as well. It's an old Spanish family that moved to the Sonoma coast of California. This is a Blanc de Noir. So what this means is...
White of black.
Exactly. So typically in the Champagne grapes, you've got Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. This is 90% Pinot Noir and 10% Chard. So you've got that lovely complexity from the Pinot Noir. It has a little touch of rosé in the glass, a little touch of pink, so it's actually lovely. Those Pinot qualities are going to be great with the mushroom and the turkey, but sparkling, if you don't know what to do with a dish, go sparkling. So it's another great choice as well.
That's good advice, actually.
And this is 32.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with this Australian Pinot.
It's worth a try.
Windy
Great
Peak.
price point and good wine.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Enjoy.
See ya.
See ya.
We'll just take our last portobello mushroom, stuffed portobello mushroom, put it on that beautiful salad that Karl made. A little drizzle of olive oil on there to moisten it up, just a tad. And let's go and visit Melanie and Karl in the dining room and see if Melanie's got Karl in any of those moves.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Okay, stuffed portobello mushrooms. Ta-da! It looks great.
Looks amazing.
Let's have a little nibble and declare whether we approve.
Salad is lovely.
Yeah.
And the mushroom is great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What's that topping again, Steve?
It's bread and Parmesan cheese on the top. Yeah.
Works really,
Anything with
really
cheese on it, I love. So good.
well. Yeah. Melanie, I wanted to ask you, what type, there are different types of yoga. What type do you practice?
I practice vinyasa or flow, so it can be a very dynamic form, lots of movement, and it's almost like a dance because you link the breath with the movement. So it's a real feel good type of
But
practice.
is it still what we'd term a low impact kind of?
Of course, yeah. It's not like running or anything like that. The joints are always protected and looked after.
Yeah. Now, what about somebody? Somebody like me, who kind of seized up years ago and doesn't have that much stretch in his muscles. I mean, is it something that I could take up at my age, or?
Absolutely, any age. And I encourage it because as we get older, we just get tighter and shorter, right? So anything that you can do to open up and lengthen and stretch out is just going to make you feel so much better.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What about men? Do many men do yoga? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, there are more women than men that attend the class for whatever reason, I don't know. But yeah, and the men that come usually walk in with a partner to start or a friend that have kind of forced them there. And then they fall in love with it and they keep coming back.
So if I were to go, I don't really have to wear spandex, do I? I mean, what?
It's encouraged. I'm joking.
Seriously?
No. Whatever you are comfortable in.
I've seen
Anything
him in
at all.
spandex. It's not pretty. So.
Bring it on,
I don't know if I
Karl.
believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you actually did you not, or were you joshing when you said that you had done a yoga?
No, I haven't done any. I was joshing,
Okay.
Karl.
Well, I mentioned a pose, and he struck a pose that looked very much like what I was talking about. Which
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah.
I did read up, Karl. I did my research.
Oh, good for
there you
you.
go.
I'm impressed. Yeah. It's the first time for everything, Melanie. Now, you do these yoga retreats.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Because I'm intrigued by that, because I know there are, like, cooking retreats and art retreats.
I guess it would be a similar kind of
Yeah.
thing, but yoga.
Yeah.
It's a healthy vacation. So basically you go 2 yoga classes a day in the morning and the evening, and then fresh, healthy, sometimes vegetarian food. And it's amazing. It makes you feel like $1 million when you come back.
So do the people on the retreat prepare the food for themselves, or?
No, the hotel or the center will
Okay.
prepare the food, so you don't have to do anything.
Now,
but,
how do you do, of these do you do a year?
Usually 2. I've been teaching 2 a year.
Okay.
And I like to take part in 1 a year as well because I like to.
Okay. So can you kind of turn this kind of into a vacation? I mean, do you do it in different parts of Canada?
Yeah,
or different...
Hawaii,
Oh, really?
Mexico,
Oh, my.
Costa Rica. Oh yeah, we get out of town.
That's exciting. I like
completely,
that.
because it's warm, it's sunny.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're on
absolutely.
the beach. It's
That
quite
sounds
amazing.
really, really exciting. Okay, so now people want to find out about these retreats. How do they find out about it?
On my website, novayogaonline.com, I've got all my information there.
Okay,
Perfect.
and they can just go to the website and sign up
Absolutely.
online, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's been delightful meeting you and
Yes,
having you
you
on
too.
One Chef, One Critic. Continued success with all of your various ventures.
Thank you.
And we will be right back with Chef Matt MacDonald of Legros Motti doing a little Italian appetizer after this. Welcome back, everybody. Well, Legros and Motti on Harbor Drive downtown in St. John's patterns itself after the type of restaurant you might find in the meatpacking district of New York City. It bills itself as well as both a French bistro and Italian trattoria. They even have their own brand of olive oil, for example. We happen to think they do a very admirable job on both counts, and we're delighted to welcome the executive chef of Legros Motti to One Chef, One Critic, Matt MacDonald. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Karl. Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. You were absorbed in my dramatic introduction, weren't you? So, what are you going to do for us?
Today we're going to produce a dish we call polenta. For those of you who don't know what polenta is, it's actually a fine ground corn kernels that have been dehydrated. And in the form it is here, it almost looks like a very, very coarse flour. So we use that, we cook that out with some cream chicken stock.
Yep. And I was saying before we started shooting today that down in the States they have something called grits, which is very similar, except it's a coarser cornmeal and it's white.
Yes.
Yeah.
So grits themselves are the same thing, but they be from a white corn.
Yeah.
And the polenta we're going to do today, we're going to serve it with a mushroom fricassee. So we got a mixture of wild mushrooms there. We got some oyster mushrooms, some shiitakes, portobellos,
Okay, yeah.
cremini mushrooms there.
So you got Legros Motti olive oil in there as well?
Yes, we got an olive oil. We partnered with a group out of Umbria, Italy, and they've been kind enough to do up a special blended olive oil for us. Mm-hmm. And the same company competed 2 years in a row now, and they've actually won the world's best olive oil, best in show and best in class.
Impressive.
In the New York Olive Oil Awards.
And can you buy that at the restaurant?
You can buy that at the restaurant. What we sell in the restaurant is the 500 ml glass bottle that I've been using here, and that retails for about $17 a bottle.
And you've got the big tin here. I guess this is what you'd use in the restaurant.
Yes, the tins what we get in ourselves. We use those in the restaurant, and then we have the small bottles for the tables. This here is just a black truffle paste. So it's black winter truffles to go in. This will make the really enrich the.
So that gives a nice earthiness to the dish as well. That's lovely. That's the real truffle.
It's right in there, isn't it? You can really smell that aroma.
Yeah, it makes it a really, really strong, fragrant aroma there with the truffle. And then we serve this in the restaurant. We serve the creamy polenta, and on the side we have this wild mushroom fricassee, which would be what we're doing here now with the wild mushrooms, truffle paste, some fresh herbs. And we'll finish with just a bit of salt and pepper, garlic,
okay,
shallots.
just to bring it through. Okay, I understand.
Yes.
You can also get a polenta in cake form or a baked polenta as well, can't you?
Yes, a lot of places now as well. They do the same thing as they make the creamy polenta. They set it up overnight in a sheet tray.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times they cut it out and they bake it, or they could sear it off and then serve it as a polenta cake.
Yeah.
Or they could grill it on the grill.
And sometimes just eat on the grill. With the
Same
grill
thing,
burns,
and on the grill as well. A lot of places are deep frying as a crispy polenta. I used to work in a restaurant in Bermuda. And we used to do the polenta cakes, and we bread them in flour, and then deep fry them as a garnish for ossobuco.
Yeah.
So you just put some salt and pepper in there and all the mixed herbs, right?
Yeah, so salt and pepper, and then we do like an Italian mixed herb down to the restaurant. So it's just a blend of parsley, chives, oregano, thyme, and a small touch of rosemary. Rosemary's very overpowering.
Yeah.
I love mushrooms, and I love that aroma that's coming from that pan. It's absolutely fabulous. I've had this dish at the restaurant, actually, Matt, and I must say I enjoyed it thoroughly. And for folks who've never had polenta, you should really give it a go. There's nothing nicer than this dish, the creamy polenta and those earthy, wonderfully textured mushrooms with all of the different flavors, and a nice glass of wine.
And there's plenty of wine.
Plenty of wine.
Yeah.
So you've got the polenta ready there, have you?
We've got the polenta ready here, so
we'll
we'll just dish this up here in the small dish here. And it's almost got the, for people that are unfamiliar with it, a lot of people in Newfoundland will be familiar with porridge.
Yep.
And the way I
cream
explain,
of wheat.
Cream of wheat or porridge.
Yeah.
And the way I've explained to a lot of people is it's very similar in texture to cream of wheat or that porridge taste.
Yeah. Well, for me too, it's like comfort food, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, this looks absolutely fantastic. Just look at that. That's a beautiful dish. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Matt.
Fresh herbs on top.
There we go. And that's it for this edition of
One Chef,
One Critic.
nice and hot. You can't go wrong with that, can you?
Steve.